What's up, guys? It's Casey Zuckerman, aka the Fourth Sanderson Sister, coming at you with another Hocus Pocus character analysis video. In today's video, I am going to be diving into a very special Myers-Briggs themed character study for Winifred Sanderson. As you can see, I'm wearing my Winnie shirt. Gotta wear the Winnie shirt when we're representing this. We're gonna do the Myers-Briggs test as Winifred Sanderson. I'm gonna answer the questions as Winnie, or how she would answer them, and we're gonna determine what her personality type is. I really like the psychology of fictional characters. It's so much fun to get inside their heads and why they think the way they think. You know, I've done a lot of analyses on the Sanderson sisters on this channel. This is kind of going to be another one of those, but it's going to be a little more, less Casey doing the thinking than, this test, because I took one of these, and I turned out to be an INFJT. It fits me to a T, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Winifred and Mary and Sarah are going to end up being. I just want to see what kind of Myers-Briggs personalities they're going to have, because I think it would be really fun, and if you guys like this, maybe I'll do one for Billy. But I'm excited to dive into the psychology of this. We'll find out the strengths and weaknesses of each of their personality types, and like I said, we're going to start with Winifred today. I'll probably be searching for, like, evidence of these traits within the movies as well. I'm going to answer these as truthfully as I could to how Winifred would react to these questions. I'm super hyped to do this, so let's just freaking do it. Let's just freaking do it. So the first question: you regularly make new friends. As we saw in Hocus Pocus 2, that is definitely not the case. Winifred does not make new friends very easily, or at all, really. She kind of made an acquaintance in Becca by the end of the second movie, but I'm gonna have to say, disagree. Complex and novel ideas excite you more than simple and straightforward ones. Ooh. There are a lot of complex steps to the plans that Winifred makes, but she also likes getting to the point. So I really don't know, man. And as you can see, there are different degrees of agree and disagree. I think we know her harebrained schemes can be exactly that. They can be harebrained schemes. They can be complex, or they can be really simple and straightforward. So we think, but there's a lot of steps to get to that straightforward answer. So I'm gonna have to give her probably an agree, but like not fully agree. You usually feel more persuaded by what resonates with you emotionally than by factual arguments. This is an absolute agree for Winifred, because we know she thinks specifically with her emotions and what's going to better her in the moment, specifically her, not anyone else. This works for her. This is how she would do it. She gets mad. We know she gets mad, and that's exactly what persuades her to do some things. Editing Casey's probably about to blow up a regularly used clip on this channel, I'm sure, to prove that, yes, this is an agree.
Winnie, we have the fun!
We haven't the time! Besides, I want to get that little rat-faced kid that called me!
Oh, don't say it, Jody. Ugly? Oh, honey, I know.
She really hurt my feelings!
She's jealous.
She doesn't even know me!
Your living and working spaces are clean and organized. She's very good at keeping things in their place. She retraces her steps a lot. She even asks Mary, hey, help me out here. Where was this? Where was this? Even in the first movie we saw where she was like, okay, so I was here. And you know what? Just roll the clip.
Now I remember! I was here.
Yes?
The book was there. You, Mary, you were here. Sarah, you were in the back, dancing idiotically. And the book said,
yes?
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yes?
So I'm going to give her an agree on that one. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. Need we even say more than the following?
I am calm!
Hard disagree. You find the idea of networking or promoting yourself to strangers very daunting. She doesn't like interacting with a lot of other people, but at the same time, we see her jump into the stage stuff. She gets up there, she's like, yes, time to be a powerhouse, time to sing and do all these things. And I don't know, I think I'm gonna give her a mid-agree on this one. for the simple fact that she hates working with other people. She hates putting herself out there for other people. But she also really likes putting some of her stuff out there for other people, especially if it benefits her. So I'm going to give her a mid on that one. You prioritize planned tasks effectively, often completing them well before the deadline. Considering their deadline is an actual deadline, she prioritizes and does plan her tasks, yes. Well before the deadline, I don't know, because we see her get sidetracked whenever her emotions come into play. So I have to say neutral. People's stories and emotions speak louder to you than numbers or data. This one's a little... She doesn't give a crap what other people say, basically. If it's not... She doesn't care. She just doesn't care. Other people's stories and emotions, no, she doesn't care. If they're her own emotions, yes. So, like, even Mother's Warning, like, there's a good example. Mother's Warning, she was very clearly emotional when she said, hey, don't use the Magic Eye Maxima. But Winifred only saw the numbers of, ooh, all-powerful. So I'm going to say probably a mid-disagree on that one. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. We know she uses lists because we saw her use a list for the ingredients in both the first movie and the second movie, especially in the second movie. They had to hunt down those ingredients. So I'm gonna say probably a mid-agree. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. Yes, this is something we can definitely say Winifred does. Especially there was the scene in Trask's garage where one mistake sent her into a spiral. We saw that.
Winnie, look! I cannot. My eyes are misted over with the tragic tears of a lifetime of failure.
So, I'm going to say that's a hard agree. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. No. Well, I don't know. She doesn't. Again, this kind of goes back to the whole... If it benefits her, yes, or if it's like she just walks up to the lady selling the poison apples and is like, stop doing that, you're gonna blow your cover. So she did obviously just feel comfortable walking up to that one. She felt comfortable walking into the devil's house, Gary Marshall's house. So that was... I might give her a light agree on that one, because she also still hates pretty much everybody in the universe. You're not too interested in discussions about various interpretations of creative work. So basically, for her, how would this... I'm trying to think of how some of these would entwine with Winifred. She doesn't like talking about much stuff. I mean, interpretations of creative works, I guess you could say, like, different magical spells and stuff. She's interested in that kind of thing. I'm going to give a neutral just because I really don't know about that one. You prioritize facts over people's feelings when determining a course of action. She definitely does that. Not her own feelings, but everybody else's feelings, including her two sisters. She absolutely prioritizes facts over people's feelings. You often allow the day to unfold without any schedule at all. I'm going to say that's probably a mid-disagree. She probably has to adjust, but she definitely runs on a schedule. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on the people you meet. Oh, this is a loaded question for Winifred. Because clearly, in Hocus Pocus 2, when she's a kid, when we see young Winnie, she doesn't seem to care what other people think about her, but at the same time, she does, because she has to put up a front in some way to keep Sarah and Mary in her life, otherwise they would have been taken away a long time ago. So she probably had to put up some kind of a front for a while. Now later on in her life, does she care about making a good impression? Heck no. So I don't really know. I'm gonna say probably a mid-disagree on that one for her, because she doesn't really care about what people think about her to a degree. You enjoy participating in team-based activities. Well, if Hocus Pocus wanted to have proved anything, she's not very good at the whole teamwork thing, but she does work with her sisters fairly well, even though she berates them most of the time. So we'll go a mid-disagree, or a mid-agree on that one, because, like, she gets to a point where she just can't take it anymore, but at the same time, she does do teamwork fairly well. You enjoy experimenting with new and untested approaches. I'm going to have to say that is probably a yes, because she didn't know a whole lot about Magicae Maxima. She didn't read the warning. She didn't mind experimenting with this kind of stuff. She didn't mind experimenting, like, whenever she first got Book, when she was a kid. Immediately, boom, we're looking at the spells. Ooh, this one would be good. This one would be cool. This one would be cool.
Transformation? Levitation spell? It's an apothecary book, like one of Father's. No, tis a spell book. Magicae Maxima, the power spell. Ooh, let's do this one.
Let's go set fire to Trask's house. Yes, that's an agree for her. You prioritize being sensitive over being completely honest. She's both, though. But this is sensitive towards other people versus honesty towards other people. She is not worried about other people's sensitivities. Otherwise, she'd be a whole lot nicer to her sisters. So I'm going to say a mid-disagree on that one. You actively seek out new experiences and knowledge areas to explore. I'm going to say yes on this one for her. Like, probably a hard agree. I keep saying hard disagree, but that's not right. It's a hard agree, because she does dive straight in to new magic, new spells, new experiences. Like, there's a big one to the new experiences. She had never been on a stage before. She had never sang in front of people before, to our knowledge. Hocus Pocus 1, we get to the party, bam, she gets up on that stage, and she is doing I Put a Spell on You. Yes, she actively seeks out new experiences. When we get to Hocus Pocus 2, she's like, oh, I've done this before, but it's also a little different this time, so yeah, let's go do it. That's an agree. You are prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse. She is very good at that. We know she is good at that, because we have that scene towards the end of Hocus Pocus 1 where Mary's comforting her, as Winifred is literally worrying about everything that could go wrong at that point.
This is the end.
No.
I feel it.
Okay.
We are doomed. I feel the icy breath of death upon my neck.
So that's a hard agree. You enjoy solitary hobbies or activities more than group ones. This is a kind of, again, a yes and no situation, because she would rather be alone, but she's also very, very good with her sisters. She likes doing things with her sisters. She doesn't like big groups, but yeah, with Mary and Sarah, sure. So I'm going to give this a light disagree. You cannot imagine yourself writing fictional stories for a living. Winnie does tend to put her own spin on things, obviously, with, like, the Billy thing, so light agree. You favor efficiency in decisions, even if it means disregarding some emotional aspects. Again, this kind of delves into it depends on whose emotions we're talking about. Her emotions or other people's emotions. If it's her emotions, those take priority. If it's her sister's emotions, she don't care. She don't care. Yeah, efficiency in decisions, even if it means disregarding some emotional aspects. I'm gonna give this one probably a light agree, just because I'm not sure if it means her emotions or someone else's. So, light agree on that one. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. She is very much nose to the grindstone, get this done, this is how we're doing this is when we're doing this, so I'm gonna say agree. In disagreements, you prioritize proving your point over preserving the feelings of others. I think that's pretty clear. That she is going to be right no matter how much it hurts your feelings. We know she would be the one to suck it up, Buttercup. I'm right. You usually wait for others to introduce themselves first at social gatherings. Well, there we go. Let's go back to the Devil's House for a minute. They approach him, and he kind of introduces them to himself, but also to his wife. He introduces them. And I think this is definitely probably a mid-agree. Your mood can change very quickly. Do we even need to ask? Yeah, she's got mood swings like Mother Nature in Kentucky. You are not easily swayed by emotional arguments. She's really not, unless they're her own emotions. Because if she were swayed by emotional arguments, she would have listened to Becca and read the warning. She would have paid more attention to what Mary and Sarah say. So she is not easily swayed. But I'm going to give it more of a mid-agree because occasionally. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. No, she is very much we got to do this now. We're going to do it my way. We're going to do it now. So that's a hard disagree. You enjoy debating ethical dilemmas. I'm gonna... Ethics be darned. You know what these three do for a literal keeping them alive living. That's gonna be a disagree. You usually prefer to be around others than on your own. Again, going back to her sisters, yes, she likes being around her sisters. She doesn't like being around anyone else. So, light disagree. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna give that a mid-disagree. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. This is another one that's kind of hard to place for Winnie. But I guess if we look at it from the Magicae Maxima perspective, in theory, Mother was... The way she is with Mother, she became bored pretty quickly, with the whole, well, why aren't you because I said so. Well, that's not really an argument, so I'm going to give her a light agree on that one. When facts and feelings conflict, you usually find yourself following your heart. Oh, yeah, let's play that clip again.
Besides, I want to get that little rat-faced kid that called me!
Now, just spitballing here, but maybe we could make a life potion?
I'm done with piddling potions. Okay. If we were the most powerful witches on earth, nothing could stop us. Not teenagers, not Trasks, not the infernal sun. Sisters, it has been decided. We are doing the Magicae Maxima, the power spell.
Oh, but when do you promise to never ever do that spell?
That was 300 years ago. That promise has expired.
That's a hard agree. You find it challenging to maintain a consistent work schedule or study schedule. I don't think that's necessarily true of her, because we saw them at the beginning of Hocus Pocus 1. They are very on it. They are up. They are doing things. They are on the ball. So I'm going to say that's probably a hard disagree. You rarely second-guess the choices that you've made. She never second-guesses the choices that she makes until the consequences have hit. I.e., the end of Hocus Pocus 2. She never once looked back on doing the Magicae Maxima until it was frickin' too late.
Takes what you value most.
Silence!
Winnie!
Thou art no witch. Thou art nothing but a silly child. Thou knowest nothing.
Winnie? Winnie?
So she never second guesses the choices that she made until that one time. Until that one time. So that's going to be a disagree. Your friends would describe you as lively and outgoing. I think Mary and Sarah would absolutely describe her that way because of how much bravado she gives off. How like vibrant her personality is. So I'm gonna say yes. Because they're her only friends. You were drawn to various forms of creative expression, such as writing. For me personally, this was an agree. Various forms of creative expression for Winifred, though. I mean, we've got the singing thing, we've got book, we've got her experimenting with magic. I mean, I'd say yes. I'd say yes to a degree. Usually base your choices on objective facts rather than emotional impressions. Her choices are always based on emotions. Her own emotions. If it's somebody else's emotions, she doesn't care. But, yeah. She does not make her stuff on facts. You have a to-do list for each day. I think Winifred would definitely be the type who has here's what we're going to do today, here's what we need to do in the order that we need to get it done. So I'm going to say agree on that one. You rarely feel insecure. She is a perplexing character with that. Because the way she acted in movie 1, heck no, she had no insecurities. But once you actually get to see more of her, like whenever she was a kid, how she was looked down upon, how she was written off because she wasn't as attractive as everybody else. She, the way she is at the end, she doesn't want to be alone without her sisters. Like, she doesn't feel secure without them. She does feel insecure. Probably a lot more than we think. The bravado and stuff is just a facade, really, to mask the scared child underneath. So I'm going to say that's a mid-disagree. You avoid making phone calls. There is one scene that was deleted from the first movie where she does make not make a phone call, but it's at the devil's house. The phone rings. It is the Medusa's mother. And she is like screaming at Winifred and she's just like, she breaks the phone. I mean, it's hysterical. But as she doesn't really know how to work a phone, I'm going to do neutral on that one. You enjoy exploring unfamiliar ideas and viewpoints. Viewpoints, no. Unfamiliar ideas, yes. She doesn't care about other people's viewpoints. She doesn't look at it from anybody else's perspective but her own. So we'll give that a light agree. You can easily connect with people you have just met. That is definitely not true. That is definitely not true. Winnie makes a terrible first impression on pretty well everybody. So I'm going to say disagree. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Lord, yes, that is pretty much what the entirety of Hocus Pocus 1 is. If her plans are interrupted, her plans were interrupted the second that Max took the spell book. Her top priority for the rest of the movie was get the spell book so we can do the rest of this stuff.
Therefore, it stands to reason, does it not, sisters dear, that we must find the book, brew the potion, and suck the lives out of the children of Salem before sunrise? Otherwise, it's curtains. We evaporate. We cease to exist.
Yes, that is her top priority, is to get things back on track. You're still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. Ooh, this is a loaded question. This is a really loaded question for Winifred. Oh my gosh. Jeez. I think she truly is bothered by mistakes from her past. But she's so far gone now that she doesn't like to think about them. Obviously, she cares so much about her sisters that I highly doubt the thought hasn't occurred to her of, well, what if I had just gone through with the marriage with John Pritchett? I'm going to say that's a mid-agree for her. You are not too interested in discussing theories on what the world could look like in the future. She's from the past. She's doing good to live through the future. She's doing good to live through the present. I'm gonna go neutral. Your emotions control you more than you control them. God, that is so true for Winifred. That is so true for Winifred. That's how everything popped off in the beginning for them. Right from the beginning, she was an angry kid. A lot of bad stuff had clearly happened to her. They were orphans. She was the head of the family. She was a parent at a very young age to her two younger sisters. She is a very emotional character. We see her cry a couple of times. I mean, especially in Hocus Pocus 2. Yes, her emotions control her way more than she controls them. When making decisions, you focus more on how the affected people might feel on than on what is more logical and efficient. Oh, heck no. She does not give a crap about other people's feelings. She doesn't give a crap. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts. That is definitely not true for Winifred. She is very, by the book, let's get this done. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take them to feel disappointed in you. Ooh. Again, this is kind of another loaded one. Because she doesn't really care what other people think, but she cares a lot about what Mary and Sarah think. She cares a lot about what they think about her. Because they've got her up on a freaking pedestal, and she wants to keep it that way. So, I could actually see this being kind of a mid-agree for her. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. I think that would have to be a mid-agree. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. I'm going to give her a neutral on that one. You feel more drawn to busy, bustling atmospheres than to quiet, intimate places. Well, there is a yes and no here. Because they live off secluded. They like their privacy. She likes being left alone. But, at the same time, she loves the Halloween parties. She thrives when they are up on stage. I'm going to give this one probably a mid-agree. If a decision feels right to you, you often act on it without needing further proof. I am not playing the clip again. We all know what I'm going to say. She felt the right decision was to go after Danny, and she didn't give two bones about anything else. She was ready to go after the Magic Eye Maxima. She didn't give two bones about anything else. Yes, that's a hard agree for Winifred. You often feel overwhelmed. I don't know, man. I'd almost say yes, because the two times we see her, well, even the several times we see her, the only time I think we have ever seen her relaxed and in her element is the very beginning of Hocus Pocus, when they're just doing their witchcraft. That is like the only time we see her actually fully relaxed, just doing her thing. Every other time we have seen her, even Hocus Pocus 2's prologue, she's very overwhelmed by the fact that she now has to get married. She now has to make sure that she keeps her sisters. She doesn't want to get married to keep her sisters, but she's got to keep her sisters. She's got all of this stuff that is happening all at once on her birthday. Now she's got these powers that she doesn't know what to do with. I mean, I'd say yes. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. Again, that's kind of a yes and no, because she has jumped around in her plans a couple of times before, or outsourced things to other people. I'm going to give that a light disagree. You prefer tasks that require you to come up with creative solutions rather than follow concrete steps. She likes her stuff straight and to the point. You are more likely to rely on emotional intuition than logical reasoning when making a choice. We just had this discussion. That's a yes. You struggle with deadlines. Yeah, she struggles with deadlines, alright. She really struggled in that first movie with that deadline. But it wasn't entirely her fault. So I'm gonna give that a mid-agree. You feel confident that things will work out for you. She does and she doesn't. When she's got the plan going, she's like, yes, we're going to get this done. Everything's going to be great. I'll be finished. It's going to be easy. We get it done. And then everything tends to go to pot, and she always has her meltdown. She has her meltdowns. So I'm going to say light disagree. Maybe even a mid disagree, actually. And her gender is female. So let's see her results. She is an ISTJ, a logistician. Logisticians are practical and fact-minded individuals whose reliability cannot be doubted. She's 59% introverted. I think that works really well for Winifred, because she's more introverted, but not to the point where she's not going to get up on stage and do a costume contest and a big song number twice. She's got enough extrovert to do that. Introverted individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and often feel drawn to calmer environments. Ooh, she's split down the middle here too, for 54% observant and she's 46% intuitive. Observant individuals are pragmatic and down to earth. They tend to have a strong focus on what is happening or very likely to happen. 54, wow, she is like split right down the middle, and I love that for her. 54% thinking over feeling, which is surprising. Thinking individuals focus on objectivity and rationality, often dismissing emotions in favor of logic. They tend to see effectiveness as more important than social harmony. That does work for her. 81% judging. Oh god, yeah. Judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. They value clarity, predictability, and closure, preferring structure and planning to spontaneity. I agree with that for her. Holy crap! She's got a lower score than me by 3%. That's so terrible. That's really bad. Which is crazy because she's so assertive, but she doesn't do her assertiveness correctly, just like me. She's 93% emotionally turbulent. It's true. It's so funny. My score was 96%, by the way. All my assertiveness is housed in this little pinky. Turbulent individuals are self-conscious and sensitive to stress. They feel a sense of urgency in their emotions and tend to be success-driven, perfectionistic, and eager to improve. That does fit for Winifred. That does fit for her. Because she has those meltdowns, she has all that stuff. We're going to skip that. Alright, let's actually look at the strengths and weaknesses and see how much this actually works for her. ISTJ. That's amazing. People with ISTJ personality type mean what they say and say what they mean, and when they commit to doing something, they make sure to follow through. That's very, very perfect for her. With their responsible and dependable nature, it might not be so surprising that ISTJ personalities also tend to have a deep respect for structure and tradition. They are often drawn to organizations, workplaces, and educational settings that offer clear hierarchies and expectations. While ISTJs may not be particularly flashy or attention-seeking, they do more than their share to keep society on a sturdy, stable foundation. In their families and their communities, people with this personality type often earn respect for their reliability, their practicality, and their ability to stay grounded and logical even in the most stressful situations. Alright, strengths and weaknesses. Let's see what her strengths and weaknesses are and see how accurate this is. Honest and direct. Yep. Disciplined. Oh, absolutely. Very responsible. Yep. Calm and practical. I don't know about that one. Organized and effective, yes. Research-oriented, yes and no. Weaknesses, stubborn, insensitive, always by the book, judgmental, and prone to burnout. Yep. Yep. Stubborn. The facts are the facts, and people with the IST personality type tend to resist any new idea that isn't supported by those facts. This factual decision-making process makes it difficult for them to accept that they were wrong about something, but anyone can miss a detail, even ISTJs. That's so perfect. This is pretty accurate for her. That's pretty accurate for Winnie. I like it. I like it. So she's an ISTJ T. A big old T. She's a big old T. It might be the biggest T, except for me. I'm 3% higher than Winifred on the turbulence. That's actually kind of upsetting to me. But that's really fun. That was really fun. I enjoyed the heck out of that. I like that Winifred's an ISTJ. It does make a lot of sense for her. And I like that most of her results were split down the middle. They were split down the middle, most of them. Like, she had a little bit higher percentage on a couple of them that I was kind of surprised she did, but they were split down the middle, which worked so well for her. Because we do see her in both lights as both the extroverted person and the introverted person. She's clearly more of an ambivert with the extroverted-introverted thing. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I love diving into psychology like this, especially for these characters. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to psychoanalyze them. But I don't know, man. ISTJ really does fit for Winifred. It really does fit for Winnie. And I like that we did this. Next week, we're going to do Mary. And I'm going to be surprised as all heck if we are not both INFJs. We're so much alike. But Winnie's an ISTJ -T for turbulent. That's a big old T for turbulent emotions. Oh my gosh. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It helps me. What helps me helps you guys get more great content like this. Like I said, next week we're gonna do Mary's Myers-Briggs personality test. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then we may be taking a break, doing a different video before we do Sarah's. Depends on my upload schedule. We'll see what I do. But we'll do Sarah's after Mary's, and we're going to see what their personality types is, too. If you guys like this, maybe I'll do a couple other Hocus Pocus characters if you want me to do this again. This was so much fun! This was so much fun! And speaking of fun, Thursday night, I'm back on Twitch playing more Hogwarts Legacy at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Over on my Twitch channel, which if you're not following me over on Twitch, please give me a follow over on my Twitch channel. The closer I get to 50 followers, the closer I get to be an affiliate. It's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun with that. Every time I run past a cat, I pet it. I have to pet the cat. So anytime there's a cat, everybody's probably going, oh God, she's about to pet the cat again. I have to do it. Okay, I have to do it. And then Saturday night, we're back here on YouTube with more Black Flame Gaming. We're going to continue Mary Sanderson Plays Pokemon Heart Gold Randomized Nuzlocke right here on the channel. Last episode was great. It was the first time in 2 episodes that nobody died. It was great that no one died. We got a brand new team that we're rocking with, and it's been quite enjoyable. At least this last episode. I had a blast with you guys last episode. Y'all were on fire in the chat, and I loved it. It was a great breath of fresh air. So that's all I have for this week. If you're a regular on this channel, please remember to drop a like and share your thoughts on Winifred's personality type down below. And if anybody wants to take this quiz, I'm going to link it in the description of each of these videos so you guys can give it a shot and see what you come out as. Maybe you'll match Winifred. Maybe you'll be an ISTJ. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Casey Zogelman, aka the 4th Sanderson Sister, and I'll see you witches and wizards later.
I put a spell on you.